Small parties are so much better than big parties. Small gatherings of mates having a good time is so much more of a positive experience than large parties with heaps of people. I haven't had a lot of experiences at parties and gaths, but the ones I have had, smaller group, I've had a way better time. Well, in my opinion, bigger parties are basically multiple small parties taking place at the same time. There is usually groups of 5 or so people gathered around cause they know each other or have something in common, whether it's a party of 5 or 500. It's not the size that counts, it's how you use it. The bigger the party, the more likely the following things will happen. 1. Undesirable/uninvited guests show up and cause trouble. Something gets broken or stolen. Someone calls the cops. Parties. Parties. What logic is going on here with apostrophes? This is fascinating. I completely agree. My favorite parties have been the smaller ones I hold with my closest friends. I have been to parties with big crowds, and the biggest risk factor there is some acquaintance you don't know well or a stranger doing something stupid, dramatic, and dangerous to ruin the vibe. The chances of that happening are slim to none at a party of close friends where everyone knows each other. That is assuming your friends are healthy and get along well. This doesn't really apply if you have that one toxic friend, but I haven't had one of those since my early 20s. Each to his own. While I generally agree with you, larger parties are great if your intention is to meet new people. You simply have more options to choose from. I honestly don't see the point of going to a large party if you're simply gonna stay within your circle of friends. It sucks trying to find space to mingle. Disagree. As someone that wants to just make enough of an appearance so that I don't get tagged as antisocial and then sneak away, small parties are problematic. Only half joking. For my birthday I just have like 5 maximum friends come stay the night and play video games and order a pizza, and it's a great time. I read the thread title before reading the body and thought you were talking about politics. That'll teach me not to get excited. Personally, it depends on what mood I am. Small parties are fun to celebrate meaningful stuff, for example birthdays, and big parties are simply just to let loose without it being serious at all. You guys are getting parties. What an unpopular opinion to have on a website where everyone is an introvert. Imagine like getting invited to gatherings with over 4 people though. I think the terms big and small are open to interpretation. Can you be more specific? When I was in high school and college, the parties I enjoyed most had between 40 to 50 people. Is that a big party? I feel better when I'm surrounded by friends I can trust, to be honest, and not friends I cannot. I don't know, having a positive history with someone makes me feel better when they're around. When I have many people I don't know around me, I naturally think they're all assholes for some reason. I always prefer small packed venues for live shows than large ones as well. I find them to be a more meaningful and personal experience. As a really extroverted person, I love both. At big parties you meet new people, learn of new cultures, grew up in an international environment, and can make a lot of memories. Usually I break away from my usual friends and just roam around talking and catching up with people I know, and through them get to know new people. Small gatherings are more for relaxing, bonding, catching up with friends, and can use a gathering to invite 1 or 2 friends that aren't yet part of the circle, yet would fit in, and see how it plays out. You can't disappear into anonymity in a small party. A party of 10 to 12 people is ideal, particularly if it is at your house. I've had 35 people at my house. Never again. Personally, I prefer to go big, and then if I want to, I can drill down. I want to go to a big party with lots of people, and if I want to just get in a small group, I can. But if I want to try and party hard with everyone, that option is available too. Almost how I try and advise people I know for college. Even if you go to a huge college, you can still get in a small group and feel comfortable, and you'll have options that you necessarily may not have at a smaller school, clubs, activities, etc., if you do want to eventually get into other things or expand your group of friends. All about options, the more options the better, but if you put yourself in a position with limited options, you only get so much. Parties pick one bro, true, but small parties have an apostrophe, while big parties don't. Apparently, so there's that. Parties asterisk. Then star, I just prefer no parties. I agree 100%. Large parties, in my experience, consist of seeing a bunch of people and having a million different small talk conversations that are all pretty forgettable. In small parties, you spend a lot of time with the same people and end up having significant bonding and / or quality conversation. All parties are boring and awful. Small parties don't trigger my social anxiety as bad. Parties star. There's nothing like a house party when all the riffraff have gone and the remainder are the chill, 20 drunk as hell friends. That's when the party starts. After the house wrecking OFC, never host guys. Parties are so much more fun, and much better than wasting money on the club. Every party just dies when someone says let's go to a club. People split up or leave and it's just not the same. Bars and pubs are pretty great though. Clubs just don't seem to be much fun after college. Small gatherings, yes. I love small gatherings with my very close and trusted friends and sometimes family, and it's only a handful, if not less, people. Smiley face, that's the way I prefer it. I'm a person that prefers quality over quantity, especially when it comes to who I associate myself with and have over at my house. I'm a private person. I've thrown a huge party at my old house and I made it an entire Facebook invitation group post that was public and I told everyone they could bring whoever they wanted. Randoms welcome. And 60+ people showed up and it was wild. Everyone brought their own share of beers and bottles of liquor. We played King's Cup, we had a giant projector on the wall connected to some games and people were lining up to play some fighting games. The music was super loud. People were jam-packed like sardines inside of my living room and kitchen and even in my front yard. Sure, it was fun in the moment to a degree for me and I was the host and that was a little hectic but a little rewarding, but the next morning my floor was covered in liquor and beer, it was sticky and there were hundreds of dirty footprints all over my tile floors. My front yard and living room were an absolute mess. There were people asleep on my floor and on my couch and either I got so drunk that I lost my phone or someone stole it. LOL, we're leaning more towards someone stole it. I had absolute strangers over at my house. LOL, my fault. It was wild and a mess and I never wanted to do it again. I wanted to come out of my introverted shell, and it probably wasn't a good idea to do it while I was having a quarter-life crisis where I just had an fuck it mindset. LOL, was it worth it? To a degree, it was something I got to experience and that's something we should do at least once every few years is to get out of what you're used to and try stuff out. I think it's related to mention that it's funny how at the big parties I have been to and the ones I've hosted, I feel much more lonely in a room full of people. But in a smaller room with family and close friends, I feel like I have the world at my side. Smiley face, I'd like to say it's age that's gotten to change me into what society would call lame, but I've always been a very private and introverted person and I'm just accepting that the party scene just isn't for me no matter how many times I've tried. So, yeah, I agree, I definitely prefer small gatherings with my buddies just being home and playing video games with a pizza and a pack or 3 of beer, honestly. LOL.